What's up, everybody?
What's up, everybody?
It's Saturday night. We here.
Saturday night.
So
Happy Saturday night.
You know what I've never done?
What?
Or very seldom, well, never done in the Saturday night live that we do, and very seldom in any other live, is actually comment.
What?
Comment. So I put some comments in there. They only go to certain places, though. So they go to YouTube and they go to the Facebook page, but they don't go to you can't post to all destinations, but you can post to some. So in this bottom thing, you can reply to comments.
Oh, I mean, but we talk.
Yeah, we talk. I'm just saying I've never did it. I've never done it before. So I did it tonight. Welcome, everybody. If you're here with us live, shout yourself out in the comments. Let us know that you're here live. As we do with every time we get on Saturday night, we ask that you share this to your timeline. Share this with at least one person, because we love having a bunch of people in the comments, because it helps with the discussion, right? Last week was incredible.
Last week was really great.
Incredible. If you're new to this is Have a Conversation After Dark, where we discuss, they're not always taboo topics, but we discuss things that maybe aren't normally discussed, or maybe we feel like should be discussed. And the whole goal is not necessarily to give advice. We are authors, speakers, and coaches in the relationship building space. But this particular forum is not so much about us giving advice as much as it is getting everybody's opinions out on the table, because we want you to have a conversation as well. So if you're here watching with us, let us know that you're watching, and please share this. Hit the share button wherever you're watching this, whether it be on YouTube or Facebook. Hit the share button. Share it with somebody so we can get some folk in the comments. All right. So we're talking about a couple things tonight. I think I'm going to leave what I think might be the
Can I have that stand, please?
what might be the fire starter topic for last, maybe. But let's start with the title. So if you read the description, you already know what we're talking about. So we're talking about being unhappy. If you're unhappy in your marriage, what happens next? Now, this stems from two things. One, there was a video that was circulating on social media. Many of you have possibly seen this video where this woman is talking about the fact that she was approached by a guy who was trying to give some game, and he asked her, was she married? She said yes. He then proceeded to ask, are you happy? And her response was, no, I'm not happy. But what does that have to do with your chances of getting with me?
Right.
And then she gave a monologue after that, went into a monologue about how there are going to be times in your relationship in your marriage where you are unhappy. And you can watch it. I thought about putting it up so everybody could see it, but you can go and search that. The question I think I have, and it came from that, and also shout out to Carrie Ann if she's watching now, or if she watches the replay. Carrie Ann suggested that we talk about that as well. So the question, which is posed in the description, is, I'm unhappy. What now? So if you're unhappy in your relationship, what do you do? Now, I've heard what might be, again, for those of you who are new to this, a lot of this is not going to be our advice as much as it is our opinion.
Right.
So I'm going to give you my opinion. I've heard something said in church quite often that I think is absolutely the most ridiculous statement in the world.
Really? What? Pray about it?
No. I've heard people say that God didn't put you in marriage to be happy, but to be holy. That is absolute hogwash.
It's not.
Yes, it is.
How is it?
Yes, it is. You telling me that God didn't join me with you to be happy?
No, but I think though that what that statement means is, no, you're not going to be miserable. He doesn't want us to be miserable, of course.
Okay.
The whole time or at all. God doesn't want us to be miserable. That would not make sense. He's a loving God. But I don't know if holy is the word that I would use, but sanctification and salvation. Sometimes you have to be in certain, there's a relationship that you have to be in. Like I tell people all the time that God knew that you are the only person that can show me about myself. The only person that he can use to show me about myself. And so I think when people say that, you've heard to be holy, I've heard like to be sanctification or salvation. And I think that if that's what it takes for God to save you, that he'll do it. And I think that if you think about it in the process of it, you will end up being happy. But I don't think that, I think that you're thinking that God doesn't care if you're unhappy for your whole marriage. He's not that type of God. He's not that type of God.
And I'm with you. I agree with you. I agree with your assessment. Here's what I feel like needs to happen then. Pastors need to rephrase that.
Okay.
Because that sounds ridiculous. It sounds foolish that I'm not supposed to be in marriage to be happy, but to be holy. Like that sounds ridiculous. So rephrase that. Yeah. And listen, shout out to all the pastors out there. No hate, no judgment. I'm just giving you my opinion. Don't tell me that God didn't put me in marriage to be happy, because what you're essentially telling me, Oliver Marcel, is that I shouldn't be married because I don't want to be unhappy. So if I'm going to be put in something to be unhappy, then I'm good. Like we can dead that. I don't need that. I'm okay with that. Terry Parks is in the house. Dr. Terry Parks is in the house. When a person asks, "Are you happy?" they are really asking, "Are you willing to step out?" I agree with that.
Yeah.
They're not asking, "Are you happy?" They're asking, "Are you satisfied?"
Yeah. Yeah,
that's what they're saying.
If they're coming to, if they're willing, once they ask you if you're married, that should be the end of it. So if they're going to continue the conversation with another question, are you happy?
Right.
Are you satisfied? That means they don't care if you're married.
Yeah. You're
So
right.
yeah.
If you took traditional vows, where does it say anything about being happy?
You have to make your own happy.
Yes, I agree with that. I agree with that. I agree with the fact that I should not be getting with you in order for me to be happy.
Correct. Yes.
That I agree with 100%.
Yes. Yep.
That's very different than saying God didn't put us in marriage to be happy.
Yeah, I agree. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, that's very different. I agree with that. You are not supposed to be what makes me happy.
I'm not responsible for your happiness.
Indeed. So with that being said, what happens when you become unhappy in marriage? Is it time to go?
No, talk about it. Like, talk about it. You were not unhappy when you got married. So I feel like you need to talk about it with your spouse. What's changed? What's different? And talk about it and go from there. Do you feel like your needs are not being met? Why are you not happy anymore? Yeah, talk about it. You can't just mope around and go around disappointed and moping and, frustrated or whatever other negative emotion you have, and you haven't talked about it with your spouse, and your spouse doesn't know what's going on. You have to talk about it, but I don't feel like it's grounds to just leave and your spouse doesn't know. Like,
what if I'm doing everything in that I know to do, one, to create my own happiness, and two, to create an environment that would allow for your happiness, and you're still unhappy? What then?
Call Terry Parks.
Yeah.
No, seriously.
Yeah, we gotta get Doc on the phone.
No, that sounds like that's something that you have to deal with. You might need to go to some type of therapy or counseling or something like that.
Yeah.
Because what if you feel like you're doing everything that you can and should do to create your happiness, and you are setting the environment and creating the environment for you and your spouse to be happy, you feel like you're doing everything that you need to do, then the next step would be, to me, get some therapy, see what's going on, talk about it with someone.
Yeah,
a professional.
I agree with that. Dr. Park says, in my couples work, I find it amazing that all these women say they are unhappy.
Unhappy.
What is going on with Black women that they are so unhappy?
That's true.
That is true. That's a great point, and that's a great question to ask. The other thing is, in the particular video that we're referencing, right? If I remember correctly, I scrolled through the comments, and if I remember correctly, she was getting some backlash because she was kind of alluding to the fact that there are going to be bouts of unhappiness in your marriage, and alluding to the fact that that's okay. Should we be prepared for bouts of unhappiness? Like, is me being unhappy at certain points throughout my marital journey, is that something I should anticipate and it's okay?
I think that it could happen. I'm not the therapist. I think that it could happen, and because we change and evolve and things never stay the same, that is a possibility, I would think. And especially because for women, I'm not sure if men go through anything, but for women, we go through stuff as we age, and the perimenopause and, hormonal imbalances. So it could be attributed to something as to why you feel like you're unhappy. So sure, you should be prepared for it, but I wouldn't say like anticipate it and, sit like, am I unhappy today? Like, you know what I'm saying? But it could happen, I would imagine. I don't know.
Here's a real question I was getting to.
I'm happy. I'm not unhappy.
I'm glad to hear that. That wasn't a question, but thank you for that that bout of reassurance. I'll take it. I'll take it. But here, the question I had is this: would you be okay with me telling somebody that I'm not happy? Because I don't think she should have said that.
You don't?
Nope.
So
here's what, and I'm not saying she should lie and be like, yes, I'm happy. What she should have said was, that don't matter because I'm married.
It's none of your business. Yeah.
Would you be okay with me telling somebody else, some other woman that comes up to me and she's, trying to, shoot her shot? Would you be okay with me telling her that I'm not happy?
Would you only say that you're not happy, or would you do like the woman did and say, I'm not, but what does that have to do with you coming at me?
Does that make a difference if I put a disclaimer on it?
I feel like if she didn't say that, if she just said, no, I'm not happy, that's leaving it open-ended to me for the person that was coming at her to try and pursue her more.
I think that the fact that she said that she was unhappy leaves it open-ended. I don't care what you say after that.
No, it doesn't.
Let me tell you something, Elizabeth. If I approach you and you're married and you tell me that you're married and I ask you, are you happy? And you say no, I don't care what you say after that.
You're going to continue.
You could preach a sermon after that. The fact that you said that you're unhappy, I got to end. I don't care what you say after that.
I don't agree. She followed that up with something. She was being honest. She followed that up with something.
Okay, so you would be okay with me telling another woman that I'm unhappy if I gave a disclaimer?
I don't think I would be okay with it either way.
Okay.
Because especially if you haven't talked to me about it.
Okay.
That's my whole thing.
I would love to hear what people have to say.
Why are you talking to other people about it?
Right.
And not me? That's my whole thing.
So
did that woman talk to her husband and tell him that she was unhappy?
Yeah, I'm
that's
obviously I don't know the answer to that question,
right,
but for the sake of just me being petty and starting trouble, she probably did.
Yeah, you don't.
She didn't.
You don't know.
The first time he heard about that was when she did that video.
You don't know that.
That's the first time.
You don't know that.
He's looking at this thing on social media like, why is this chick out here talking to other dudes, telling them that we're not happy?
Well, they're happy now, so it don't matter.
Okay. Dr. Parr said, I've been reading some research that will blow your mind. If a woman has multiple sexual partners prior to you, did you know that she carries that DNA of every dude with her until death? Yes, I did know that.
Yes, I did. I've heard that before.
Men control how women act, behaviors, their eating, sleeping patterns, etc. So her unhappy could be from another man. True.
Wow, if you think about
That's true.
it. Huh.
That's true.
That last sentence.
And I love that you said that, Dr. Parks, because the thing that we don't tell individuals in church, we often tell individuals that they have to refrain from sex, but we never are told why. We're given the fornication speech, we're given the abstinence speech, we're given the it's a sin and all that kind of stuff, but we're never given the psychology behind why. And I believe if we knew why it is that we should be abstaining, more people would abstain.
Well,
because if you knew that, right? For those of us who are thinkers, if I tell you that everybody you sleep with, you carry a piece of for the rest of your life, you're going to think twice before you get into bed.
I mean, I have heard that before. And you've heard the term soul ties.
Yeah, but maybe you heard that when you were young?
Well, how young? I mean,
when did you start hearing? Like, I never heard none of that.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's what you're saying.
I never heard that growing up. The only thing I heard growing up was you can't do it.
Yeah, true.
Why can't I do it? It's fun. It's great. True. Everybody loves it. I love it. It gives me something great to talk about with the guys. Why can't I do it? You're telling me I can't do something that has, in my mind, nothing but benefits.
Yeah.
We never heard nothing like that.
Yeah. Not until we were older.
Right. Not until we had already done it.
Yeah.
And by that time, it's too late.
Yeah.
Anthony Murray's in the house. Hi, and yes.
You have to talk to your spouse about it first.
You have to talk to your spouse about it first.
Yep.
He said, yes, Terry. Yes, right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I never heard none of that, right?
Wait until sunset.
Wait until sunset. Right. So Terry is right. It's work. Yeah. Like that's my thing. So, and that's a good point. So the unhappy could actually be attributed to something in her past.
Yeah, that's
and it could
true.
be coming out, could be triggered by something
Wow.
and coming out. That's crazy.
Yeah. Wow.
Listen, here's my thing. If you're unhappy, this is me and you talking now. Nobody else is in the room. Nobody's watching. If you're unhappy, do not get on social media and say that. And don't tell no other guy that.
You know I would never.
Don't do that. Or, yeah, don't do that. Don't do
or?
That. No, or. There's no or. I was going to say, don't lie. I was going to say, or lie.
Oh.
But no, don't lie. But don't say you're unhappy. Like, there's other ways to answer that question without saying, yeah, I'm not happy. The dude that she was with, all right, let me start some trouble real quick. The dude, if what she said deterred the dude from pursuing, he don't got as much game as he think he does.
Oh, that's not necessarily true.
Oh, that's true.
No, he just ended it because she said, what does that have to do with you coming at me? You shouldn't be coming at me because I'm married, not because I'm unhappy. That's why he stopped.
I don't agree. He didn't know what to do with that.
He knew what to do with it. He was like, oh, this is not the one. Let me keep it moving.
A guy who sets his sights on something and he's good at hunting. I know that's a trigger word for some folks, but that's why I used it. That ain't no deterrent.
All right.
Because here's the thing. If he said the right thing after that, I'm not saying he would have got her, but she would have entertained more conversation.
No, I don't agree.
I'm just starting trouble, y'all. You don't have to agree.
I don't.
You don't have to agree. I just feel like I'm feeling confrontation.
I'm
tonight.
reading Terry's last comment.
What's Terry's last comment? Your children carry the DNA of all the other men she has been with. True stuff. Yeah, man. That's
wild.
Yeah.
That is wild.
Yeah. I've been asked that at my class reunions and other places.
Really?
Wow, that's interesting.
Wow. People really say that?
People do say that. Now, I've never been asked. I've never been asked that.
Wow.
But I promise you, if I ever am asked that, it don't matter what's going on in our relationship. I'm not going to say, yes, I'm unhappy.
Yay or nay.
I'm not going to give you that. Like, if I'm really trying to shut you down, I'm going to shut you down. I'm not going to like toy around shutting you down.
Yeah.
I'm going to shut you down. And me telling you that I'm unhappy, even if you walk away from that, you walk away in your mind, not thinking that it was shut down. You're thinking that, I wonder what's the bowling ball that will knock the pins over.
No.
I'm trying to tell you, Elizabeth.
Once you walk away, he's not thinking about how to come back and try again.
Okay.
I don't.
We had to agree to disagree on that one. Mm-hmm. Listen, here's the thing. You tell us what you think. If you're watching on the replay, tell us what you think. I want to get to this other thing though. Other thing is this. And it's petty, but I'm just curious what people think about it. So, social media, and this comes out of something we read. It also comes out of our experience with some of the clients that we've had the privilege to serve. Mm-hmm. Social media is a very big fire starter in marriages.
Yeah.
Believe it or not. It might not be in yours, but it is a fire starter in a lot of folks' marriages.
Yeah.
And simply me liking other females' photos or you liking other guys' photos. Now, it's been argued that if I like another female's photo, that is the equivalent of cheating.
Yeah.
I don't agree.
I don't think necessarily that, well, it depends. If we want to go biblical, it says somewhere in the Bible that if you've even thought about whatever, I'm paraphrasing, if you've ever thought about um another person who's not your spouse in a sexual manner, that you've already committed adultery.
Yeah, but how can we go immediately to assuming that me liking this other female's photo is me thinking about them in that way?
No, it's not necessarily. That's why I was going to finish and say, if that's what they're doing when they like the picture, if they have that thought in their mind, then biblically, I guess you can technically say that, yes, it's cheating. But if you're liking a picture and you're just liking the picture, I don't think that is cheating either. However, I will say this. I feel like if it's a picture of, and who said this? Charlemagne the God said that he just, from the Breakfast Club, just said that he would not like a picture of a female in a bikini because, not because he's cheating if he does, but it's disrespectful in his mind to his wife. And in that I agree. I
don't think it's disrespectful. Now I understand why you would not do it.
Why would you not do it then?
So I'm going to tell you, because this is coming straight out of my playbook. I very seldom like other females' stuff, anything.
But
no matter what it is.
If it's not disrespectful, then what's your reason?
Because we live in a world where things are automatically implied that should not be. And I don't want no part of that.
Okay.
That's the only reason. That's literally the only reason.
You just don't want anyone to take your liking the wrong way.
Right. I see a lot of photos where I'm like, man, that's a nice picture, or that's a nice dress, or this is nice, whatever, But I don't, because we've seen what it does and the immense unnecessary back and forth that it causes. Like I just forget it, man. I don't need to be bothered. But let me ask this, because there are some folk that are watching. Only Terry and Anthony Murray is commenting so far, but there's some other folk watching. How do you feel about your spouse liking social media photos of the opposite sex?
Does it depend on the photo? Because what if the guy sees the picture and it's a female and she has on a really nice conservative suit, or just something nice, and it's not revealing or anything like that, but it's a nice outfit, as opposed to a female in a bikini? Does it make a difference?
Me personally, I don't think it makes a difference. Because here's the thing. If I'm going to be 1,000% honest, there is absolutely nothing wrong with admiration. I'm using that word kind of for shock value. We admire a whole lot of things. It don't mean we want them. It don't mean we're going to do foolishness to get them. Right? There's cars that I admire. There's homes that I admire. Don't mean I'm running up in the home and trying to take control of it. And I know that's a crazy example, but that's just me. Now that's my personal thing, but obviously we've sat with couples who can't handle that.
I feel like if it's like a guy in a, what you call those things, Speedo or something like that, or even swim shorts, and he's got like a 6-pack and a really great body, I feel like it would be disrespectful for me to like that kind of picture.
Tell me why.
I don't know. I just feel like, because I wouldn't want you to feel any kind of way about me liking it. And I feel like it would be disrespectful for you to like a picture of a woman in a bikini as well. Because I just feel like that's just too much skin and too much body, and I don't feel like you should be liking that.
I
I
understand.
don't know if I can if I'm explaining it right, but I feel like I would feel some kind of way about that.
And I get that, but here's the thing. Everything you just said, is that it are you coming from a place of insecurity, or are you coming from a place of it's disrespectful? Because those are two different things.
It's true.
Because I'm gonna be honest, I'll be man enough to admit that if you liking a bunch of these bodybuilder pictures of guys, I am gonna feel some kind of way because I don't look like that. So I'm like, okay, so that's what she want. All right, let me get this membership. Let me try to do my thing. I'm gonna feel some kind of way, but I'm not gonna be like but that's gonna be because of insecurity on my part. So I'm like, okay, I probably need to figure out how I can look like that.
I don't know if it's insecure. I don't know if maybe it's a little bit of both.
Okay.
Maybe it's a little bit of both.
Yeah, I don't and I'm being controversial, but I don't see no problem. Even though, here's the disclaimer, you ain't gonna catch me. Oliver Marcel ain't liking no woman's picture in a bikini. Let's be clear about that. And I have my own reasons why, but I don't see nothing wrong with doing it. The real question is, why do you like it?
Yeah.
And you can't like I can't predict your motive behind liking it. And I think that also causes some level of insecurity.
I could see that. I could see that.
Darren Pruitt, good evening. Good evening to you as well, Darren. Really enjoyed y'all this week. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Absolutely. Judith, what's up?
Hello. Good evening. Good night.
Anthony Murray said, good question. So here's the thing. Those of you who are in relationships, is it okay for your spouse or significant other to like pictures of the opposite sex on social media? And if not, why? And if yes, why?
And maybe it depends on the type of picture. Maybe.
Helen Garcia said, good question.
Hi, Helen.
Hey, Helen.
Yeah, maybe it depends on the type of picture. I don't know.
But why? Why would it depend on the type? So here's the thing. If I'm liking a photo of a woman, like there's a woman who went to church today, for example, and they post a picture at church, right? So you're saying that is better than the woman who posts her picture on vacation at the beach, the same woman.
Yeah,
so I could like one, but I can't like the other.
Maybe it is insecurity. I don't know. Maybe so. I mean, I don't know, because I don't feel like it goes back to the motive. That's what I was saying. Exactly.
Yeah, but you don't know my motive. And I agree. I don't disagree with that. I agree with that 100%. But you don't know my motive. So what you're telling me right now, the no that you have in your spirit right now is not about my motive.
Yeah.
And here, let's be clear. I'm okay with you having a problem with it. I'm just being controversial for the sake of being controversial. I'm okay with you having a problem with it.
Yeah.
If there are, and I can't even think of any, I was going to say there are a minimal amount of pictures that I've liked where people are scantily clad, but I don't know that you can find any at all that I can think of.
What? Say that again?
I was trying to think about just my social media experience. Like, have I liked any pictures of women that are scantily clad? But I don't think I have.
Okay. You said there are minimal. Minimal doesn't mean none.
Right. And I said minimal because I was like, there might be something, but I don't know of any. I really don't. Let me ask you this though. Let's peel back even more layers. Okay. Right. Is it the liking? That's the problem. Because here's the thing. I cannot like as much as I can not like anything at all, but see it all. What's the difference?
That's what the guy said on the Breakfast Club. He was like, if you see it anyway,
Yeah, what's the difference? There's absolutely no difference. So if you
there is a
because here's the
difference. You're
thing.
not liking it. You're just scrolling.
Yeah, but are you scrolling? Is the next thing. And I'm not saying you per se, but
Right.
let's be clear about this. The algorithm is designed to show you what you like.
Yes.
And not necessarily what you like as in click like,
Mm-hmm.
but what you pause on.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
If you pause on something, like it's one thing to just be doing this. Just because when I get on social media, often I'm just like you, something got to really stand out to grab me. So I'm literally, my thumb is doing this the whole time. So I miss out on a whole lot of stuff. She'll be like, did you see such and such? I'm like, nah, I didn't see it. And I probably did, but I was keeping going. But if you pause, I promise you'll see it again.
Yeah.
So what's the difference? Go ahead and hit the like button. Why not? You're going to see it again anyway. So that's, I don't know. That's just me. And I'm, again, I'm being controversial.
You don't know what's on their mind.
You don't know what's on their mind. You're right. You don't. Helen said both of your points are valid, but I agree with it being disrespectful, but motives play a big part. Helen, why is it disrespectful in your opinion? Why is it disrespectful?
So those are the pictures I have started selecting. Not interested in.
Me too. Me too. I do the same thing. And I never used to do that before. I'll be honest. I never used to do that before. But then when you start seeing them, like there was a period of time on my social media that all of the reels were the same kind of thing. And I was like, nah, we can't do this. Because now you actually forcing me to see something.
Yeah.
We can't do that. So man, bro, that's a good point. I've been doing the same thing.
Yeah.
I've been doing the same thing. They're not interested, or you click the X and it says this will help, help determine what your feed or whatever. That's a good point, Darren. Good point. Good point. Good point. Yeah. So for all you folks out there, that's a good point Darren brought up. If you know that your motives might not be right and you ain't clicking like, but you liking, then you might want to help yourself out by cleaning up, cleaning up your timeline so you see some different stuff. Now, all that being said, obviously we got to check our motives. Obviously, we have to understand the ideology around lust and what that means and that kind of thing. All of that aside, it is my opinion. Again, I'm only talking about my opinion. This is not something I'm going to tell my clients per se either. But it is my opinion that there is no problem. Now, if you start liking tomorrow guys that are well built and muscular and don't really look like how I look yet, I haven't attained that, or they look like how I used to look when you met me, I am going to ask you, what is the fascination?
What if you did that? I started liking those types of pictures and you asked me, what is the fascination? And I said, I just think that they look so good.
Then I'm going to ask you, do you need that? Do you need that from me to allow for the stimulation that provides? Do you need that to come from me? And I would follow that up to say, before you answer that, I would prefer you say yes, that you do want it to come from me. Right? Because so I'm not, as I've matured, maybe I should say this, maybe I should start the sentence this way. I was about to say I'm not a jealous guy, but that's not always been the case. As I've matured, there are certain things I'm not going to put energy behind. I'm just not.
Right.
And one of them is what you like on social media. Like, I'm just not putting energy behind that. Now, if for some reason we ain't having sex no more and you ain't touching on me no more and all I see is you just on your phone liking these pics, and you be disappearing for a few minutes, and I don't know where you at. Then we're gonna have a problem. we're gonna have a problem then. Like, we're gonna have something we're gonna have to talk about. But right now, I don't care what you like on social media. I don't want to put energy behind that. There's so much other stuff in my head that I got to think about. I'm not adding that, especially if it's not causing no issues.
Yeah,
I'm just not adding that.
Yeah,
and that's me. Now, I'm not giving advice. Let's be clear. If it's an issue, you need to work on it.
You have to work on it. Yeah, for sure.
But for me, I'm not putting energy behind it. I don't care what she like on social media. I really don't. And that's growth, because I couldn't say that 15 years ago. Now, we didn't have social media 15 years ago, so that would have been in person. If she was gawking over guys in the mall, and like, yeah, it'd be a problem. But yeah, this don't matter to me. So that's my thing. And I just want to go ahead.
But I feel like if it matters to your spouse, you have to, even if your liking the pictures is innocent. Man, I feel like there's a mosquito in here. Even if you're liking the pictures is innocent. If your spouse feels some kind of way about it, then I feel like, do you feel like if you felt some kind of way about me liking certain pictures and you told me, but I said to you, oh, it's nothing. Seriously, it's nothing. I'm not thinking anything. It's just an innocent. I like the picture. I don't think, I'm not gawking. I'm not fantasizing or anything like that. I'm liking the picture innocently. If I said that to you, would you, do you think it's wrong for me to continue to like these pictures, knowing that it's causing some kind of a level of discomfort?
Yes.
In you?
Yes.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So if you bring, I mean, and here, and this is where people will dispute, right? Because we live in this day and age where, like, nobody can tell me what to do.
Right.
Here's the thing. If you sign up to be married, you sign up to be in a partnership.
Agree.
That actually requires you to sacrifice.
Yes, I agree.
Now, I know we don't give advice, but let me just say this. If your spouse comes to you, and it even goes back to the thing we were talking about last week. If your spouse comes to you and they're uncomfortable with something you got on, they're uncomfortable with something you're doing, they're uncomfortable with the stuff you liking on social media, then you need to address that. Yeah. And that may require some sacrifice. That may require you going to change. Yeah. That may require you changing, switching up what you do, or stop liking stuff or Xing things out so you don't see as much.
Even if it's innocent.
That's just part of a partnership. Yep. Now, you can call it what you want. You got all these people out here that's messing with folks' heads and saying they simps and soft and they this and that and whatever, beta men and all of that. Say whatever you want to say, but if you want your relationship to work, if you want any relationship to work, let's take it outside of marriage. If you want your business partnership to work, if you want your corporate partnership to work, it's going to require some sacrifice on your part.
Yes. Yeah.
Period.
Yep.
Either you with it or you ain't. Now, having said that, to answer your question, yeah, I would be appreciative of you dialing that back if I had a problem. Now, here's the caveat. The caveat is, and here's where dealing with it comes into play. Now, I'm not going to dial back what I just said. It is going to require sacrifice. But part of that sacrifice happens two ways. So you may sacrifice the amount of types of pictures you like. The work on my part, though, is I have to peel back the layers and get to the bottom of what my insecurity is.
Yeah.
And I got to fix that. Because it's not fair for you to make an adjustment and I keep my insecurity and hold it over your head. That's not fair.
That's true.
So yeah, dial what you're doing back. But at the same time, let me do some digging too to figure out, hey, what's the real problem? Yeah. The real problem ain't her liking these pictures. The real problem is something I got to figure out. Maybe my health ain't right, or maybe I don't feel like I'm doing what I should, and whatever. So it's a two-way street.
Agree.
It's a two-way street.
Agree.
And listen, if there's a lot of revealing body parts and liking them from the woman's perspective and possible insecurities, I do believe the woman will be disrespected.
And if the men are insecure, they can also feel disrespected.
Indeed.
I agree.
Indeed.
Yep.
Indeed. Elizanne, what's happening? Thank you for being here. It's okay. It's
Hello.
all good. It's all good. You here. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. What we're talking about, Elizanne, right now is we're talking about social media. And is it okay for your spouse to like pictures on social media of the opposite sex? And we left that open-ended. Now the conversation has gone to folk that are scantily clad and muscles bulging and all that kind of stuff. But just in general, is it okay for your spouse to like pictures of the opposite sex? If it is not okay, why? If it is, why? That's not energy I'm choosing to put behind something. I know my wife, and you know, if she likes pictures of guys that are muscle bound, what I will probably do first and foremost is start doing push-ups. I'm gonna just keep it a buck. I ain't even gonna say nothing to her. She just gonna automatically see me. I'm gonna be in the office doing push-ups. You know, because it just is what it is. Darren said, I agree, but I also feel we should not do things to create additional insecurity in our spouse. I agree with that.
So what would create the additional insecurity?
Liking the pictures would create additional insecurity. Right.
Okay. Yes. Yes.
And I agree with that. Yes. And that therein lies the sacrifice. Right.
Yeah.
So you're dialing back in order to keep from creating more insecurity in me.
Right.
The other side of that coin is I am actually doing the work to uncover what the insecurities are and work with them. Yeah. Because here's the thing, and this is, I don't know, man. I'm a different breed now. I've grown and I've definitely matured over time, but it's just like, man, you're gonna see attractive people for your entire life. Like, we just can't. Do we have to give this amount of energy to that? Like,
I mean, but some people do, though.
You're right, and we deal with it all the time. That was a major issue for a couple that I was working with. Was the social media thing? It was a major issue, like major.
Ooh, Elizanne, you starting trouble.
Elizanne, let's go. I like that. I like troublemakers. Let's go. Here we go. You can't stop anyone from doing what they want to. The challenge is not liking the pictures. It is the direct messages. Okay. So Elizanne, the direct, for me, I'm giving my opinion, the direct messages crosses a line.
Absolutely. I agree. 100%.
Period. Because the direct messages.
Like, why are you direct messaging?
Right. The direct message speaks to scenes. Right. That speaks to intent.
Yes.
Me seeing some ladies at the beach and like, man, they dope, and liking the picture and keeping it moving is different than me seeing the picture and be like, hey, where y'all at? What y'all doing?
Yes, I agree. Because liking the picture is out in the open. Everybody saw that.
Right.
But for you to direct, like, why are you direct messaging? That's, nobody can see that. So why now are you behind the curtain doing all of that stuff?
Yeah, the direct message.
Be out in the open with whatever it is that you got to say, like you were with liking the picture.
Yeah, that's funny.
That's my thing.
Play yourself out in the open, basically, is what she's saying.
Well, I'm just saying.
If you're going to play yourself
You're
out
clearly trying to start something if you're DMing someone.
Yeah, that speaks to intent. That speaks to intent.
Definitely.
If you DMing somebody, you got something else on your mind.
Yep.
Or even if you don't want to take it all the way, you want to flirt.
Right. Yeah.
You want to flirt.
Yeah.
Right. You want to get the flirt out of you.
Yeah.
Which is a whole nother conversation, which I'm not going to get into right now, but it's the flirting piece. But because some people think that's harmless.
That's wrong.
Yeah. Some people think the flirting piece is harmless, and think the DMs are harmless unless they go somewhere physical. Direct message is a no for sure. Yeah, you crossing the line. You're crossing the line because now your intent is visible.
Right.
Me liking the picture, you gotta kind of just take my word for it that I have no intent. Only God knows at that point.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm DMing somebody. My intent now is on the table. My intent is on the table, and that's a whole nother. That's a whole nother scenario. We've dealt with that with couples as well too, where there's DMs and emails and all of that kind of nonsense as well. Like that's that's crossing the line.
Definitely.
That's crossing the line. But yeah, we just wanted to share. We just wanted to pull that out there. This is one of those conversations where, we need to talk about it. Because here's what we should not be doing. Again, advice piece, which I said I was going to do. What we should not be doing with any of these topics that we've talked about is that we should not just be allowing it to just go undiscovered in terms of what your opinion is.
Yeah, for sure.
Because then what happens is when you don't talk about it and it raises its ugly head, you're not prepared to deal with it rationally. You're not prepared to deal with it in terms of leveling your emotions.
Yeah.
And balancing those emotions with the proper amount of logic. You're not able to do that. You're just going straight off of the frustration.
Right. Agree.
So it's good to know. Like, you should know what your spouse's position is on stuff like social media,
right?
On stuff like being unhappy.
Yeah, I was gonna say that earlier. You should know ahead of time how your spouse feels especially about the liking of the pics. It may seem trivial and a non-issue to a lot of couples, but you don't know until you talk about it.
Listen,
you don't want to wait until the situation arises. Often that is what happens. And then because you never talked about it before, the issue is not only the liking of the picture. The issue is, why did you never say anything to me about this before? What's the big deal? What changed? You didn't feel like this before, type thing. So it kind of snowballs.
And we are witnesses to the fact that it becomes a big deal. We've sat in front of couples where, in my mind, and sometimes in front of them, I was scratching my head. Like, how did we get here?
Yeah.
For something that could have been talked about and you could have game planned around and been okay with and kept it moving.
Yeah.
So that's that. If you're watching the replay, let us know what you think about both topics, being unhappy in marriage and what do you do when you're unhappy? Is it okay for your spouse to tell somebody else that they're unhappy? And that stems from a video that we were referencing where a woman talked about the fact that a man approached her, asked if she was married. She said, yeah, I'm married. He then proceeded to ask if she's happy. She told him no.
But you're just saying like she just said no.
I just paused. I was going to keep going.
You were not.
I paused for effect.
She also said, when she said no, she said, no, however, what does that have to do with you coming at me? I'm a married woman. Paraphrasing, but yeah.
My opinion in all of this is, don't tell nobody that you ain't happy. I don't care what disclaimer you put on after you say I'm not happy. Now, I'm gonna go back to some less mature days, but I've always been good at what I do. Whether it be convincing somebody to do something they didn't want to, or convincing somebody to do something they should. I'm on that side of the fence now. So I'm just as good now then as I am now.
Persuasive.
So if you tell me that you ain't happy, I don't care what disclaimer you put on it. What you essentially told me was, there's an opportunity.
No. If she would have just said, no, I'm not, and left it at that, then yes, I would agree that she is giving opportunity. But because she said, no, I'm not, but hey, what does that have to do with you coming at me? I'm still a married woman. There's nothing going on here.
I hear you. I think it's all in people's perspectives, right? Elizanne said open doors. Here's my thing. Here's what you cannot tell me. You cannot tell me, hey, the door's unlocked, but you can't come in. You can't tell me that. Now, that works for some folk. There are some folk that you can tell them, hey, the door is unlocked, but you can't go in there. And they will be like, all right, cool. Then you're going to have some folk who'll be like, the door is unlocked? Really? Let me see what's in there. And once they in there, they in there.
I disagree.
So tell us what you think about that. And then the second topic is social media. Is it okay for your spouse, significant other, to like pictures of the opposite sex? If it is, why? If it isn't, why? And here's the whole goal of it. Y'all need to be talking about that.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about that with your significant other. Talk about that with your spouse. Come to some level of understanding and agreement so that you don't end up sitting in front of us and we refereeing, which let me be clear, I do not like doing.
Right.
I have never had on a striped shirt in a session. So I don't want to be a referee. I've been one before and it's not productive.
Shirt.
What did I say?
Shirt.
Oh, striped shirt.
Shirt.
It's not productive to get in a situation where, you just back and forth. So have these conversations, folk. We're going to leave you at that. We're going to get out of here. Have a fantastic rest of your Saturday night. Have a great weekend. And thank you to those of you who are in the comments, Elizanne, Darren Pruitt, Anthony Murray, Dr. Parks. And for those of you, Helen as well, Judith. Who else did we miss? I think we got everybody. And those of you who are watching, thank you for watching this. Make sure that you are having conversations with your spouse. Listen, you know what? I don't normally do this, but I'm going to do this tonight. If you need assistance and you want to work through some things and you want to get to a place where you're able to communicate on an extraordinary level and you're able to manage conflict and you're able to create a holistic bond, shoot us an email. We can help. Mm-hmm. I promise you, we can help. Shoot us an email. The email's on your screen right now. Let us know, what your goals are, and we can jump on a discovery call together and see if we figure it out. Yeah, see if we are the folks that are right to serve you in that way. All right. So listen, we're gonna get out of here. Have a fantastic rest of your night. I think there's a couple questions. Great weekend to you as well. Thank you, Elizanne. Appreciate that. Darren, thank you. Great convo. Thanks, appreciate Darren. That. Thanks for being here. We're going to get out of here. Have a good weekend. And we will see you next. Will we see you next week?
Yeah.
I think we will see you next week. All right, family. Later.
Bye, guys.